Hey everybody, Johnny Cage here, welcoming you back to another game review. This time we're taking a look at Felix the Cat, developed and published by Hudson Soft, released October 1992 on the NES. In Felix the Cat, you will play as the titular character from the cartoon as you set out to defeat the mad professor and rescue your girlfriend Kitty from his clutches. The game plays out over a staggering 9 different worlds, each of which have their own subsections to them, culminating in a boss fight at the end of each, but as is often the case, you will first have to traverse a good bit of platforming while dealing with the evil professor's baddies before you can make it that far. When you first boot up the game, you won't have much at your disposal as far as ways of attacking is concerned, with only your trusty magic bag firing off a boxing glove to damage foes at first. But along the way you can pick up these Felix icons, which after collecting 10 of will spawn a heart, powering up Felix into a magician able to shoot stars all around him. Continue collecting these icons to fully upgrade yourself, with another 10 turning you into some sort of a spaceship car, and another 10 turning you into an angry face lobbing tank. There are even different power-ups depending on the level that you're in, as throughout the game you'll be battling not only on the ground but in the air and sea as well, providing a good variety of gameplay. Now what makes these power-ups a unique mechanic for the game is that they won't last forever, and the heart meter in the top left that you might assume is Felix's health bar is actually the health for the current power-up, which will slowly be draining unless you pick up these milk bottles which drop every time you pick up 5 of the Felix icons. The short of it is to keep picking up the Felix heads as much as possible, and should you come across a large bag in your adventures, which happens quite often, make sure to Mario Pipe down it for a whole treasure trove of goodies. On the downside though, if you ever let your hearts drain or you get hit, you will drop down a power level, and if you are at the vanilla Felix stage, that will cost you a life. And should you run out of those, you'll have to burn through one of your 3 continues before you get a game over. The level design here is a little on the strange side. There's a lot of vertical movement, especially for an NES game, and while that isn't necessarily a bad design choice, it does lead to plenty of occasions where you might need to take a leap of faith, or quickly react to an enemy being nearby once you hit the ground. And these flying stages can especially be a pain, with just how accurate the cannons firing at you are. On the upside, they can be taken out, but man, they are incredibly accurate, and a lot of the time I found myself taking the low road just to avoid them. Overall, the difficulty curve of the game is about as gradual as you would want it to be. The first few worlds you should have no problem steamrolling through, but it will start to pick up with one-hit deaths being a concern, and you're probably going to want to take a very cautious approach towards the end of the game. Especially with stages like World 8, which is the only one to not include any subsections, and is also the only auto-scroller in the game. Here you'll be dodging asteroids and blowing up alien ships while picking up milk to maintain your own ship's health, otherwise you'll be left plummeting to your death. Also, the final boss can be a pain, as he is the only one that you'll encounter that flies about the entirety of the play area, and I found trying to hit him with your boxing glove or even the magic stars usually got me hit as well. At least there are 3 big bags that you can drop down to acquire some power-ups, as I found the most reliable way to fight him was with that spaceship car thing, but just keep in mind that you can only use each of these once. The controls in the game are super simple. A will jump, or fly or swim if you press it repeatedly, and B will use the attack that you happen to have equipped at the time. The controls are also very tight, which is basically a requirement for a game that moves at this frantic of a pace, and sometimes requires you to be very close to a baddie to take them out. I did have a few issues with my inputs being eaten though. It wasn't particularly common, but it happened a few times on slopes in particular, probably since due to the degree of the slope, the game didn't always read Felix as being on a platform. The graphics are top of the line as you would expect for a super late NES title. Lots of colors and a great deal of different enemy designs and animations really help to keep the whole experience staying fresh. Unfortunately, the same can't really be said for the audio. It isn't anything that will cause you to hit the mute button or have to provide your own soundtrack, but outside of the main screen's theme, I found the melodies to just be alright. These days you can pick up a card of this one on the Nintendo for about $85 American on eBay. High price tags are pretty typical for very late NES games, especially when they're actually quite good, and this one is no different. If you prefer your Felix on the go, you can pick up a port of this on the Game Boy as well, though it isn't going to save you any money, with the average sold price on eBay being about the same as its NES counterpart. Usually when you pop on a retro game you have never tried before, you can tell within about the first 5 minutes or so whether or not you're going to like it. Whether it be the visuals, music, or overall gameplay, there's usually something that will hook you and hold your attention all the way through. But it's that hook that I felt like this game was kind of lacking. At first glance, the game looks like it has everything that you would want in a top-tier retro title, and don't get me wrong, this game is far from bad, or even average. It's just a mix of frantic gameplay, somewhat boring level design, and maybe even the game being a little too long, which slowly led me to losing interest and causing it to not be a top-shelf title for myself. The power-ups are a lot of fun though, and there's a good amount of variety to them. It's just a shame that you lose them from taking a single hit. Maybe if you had a normal health bar along with the power-up health bar meter, that may have been a better design choice. I'm going to go ahead and give Felix the Cat 8.5 cats riding a dolphin out of 10. The price for this one is getting to be a little much for anyone outside of hardcore collectors, but it is a great platformer that every retro gamer should give a try to if possible. And with how well the developers incorporated elements from the cartoon into the game design, it is a must-play for fans of the source material. Thank you everyone for watching, and if you'd like to stay posted on new game reviews as I upload them, please click the subscribe button, as well as checking out the link in the description below for my Twitch channel where I stream most days. I'll talk to you all later on.